Welcome back to the Divine Creatrix Circle. I'm so happy to be here. And funny enough, I thought we were Sunday for some reason and realized 15 minutes before that we were going live. I was in the middle of my morning routine. And so I'm excited to be here because I do love Mondays. But yeah, it was funny. Funny. You know that feeling when you feel like another day? The energy of the day feels like another day. Well, that was today for me. So as you can imagine, since I thought, sorry, I almost closed the live. Since I thought we were another day, the idea came through at the beginning when I realized that we were today. So yesterday I announced the opening more officially of Divine Calling, my new 8-week coaching program. And while I was posting it, there's something in the copy of that offering that I know brings a lot of things for many people, and it did for me too when I realized that. And that's what I want to talk about today. So when I realized that as much as I feel stuck in something that I do not like, let's say when I was in a toxic relationship or when I was not doing the money I wanted to make, whatever the situation, we know we want something better, of course, because where we are in the present moment feels painful, feels small, feels undesirable, and so on. And so our first reaction is like, how can I get there? How can I get somewhere better? And for me to be able to move from somewhere I don't like to manifest something better, to go to my next best reality, meet my next best self and best life, I had to come to terms with this statement. You are not stuck. You feel stuck. And I know the first reaction is like, yes, I'm stuck because I don't have this. I don't know how to get there. I don't have the tools. I don't have the resources. And so we'll list all of the things that we see as reasons of why we are stuck. But behind all of that, there's really no physical thing holding us back from moving forward to a reality that is better in different ways. But because we are used to know what we know in the present moment, then we often think that there's no other way, that this is what we know and this is how it is. I'm going to take a sip of my cacao. And so today I wanted to loosen up that perspective, create more space for you to feel into the stuckness, because any reality that we have in front of us, any external circumstance that is in front of us, in truth is only inviting us to look back within, to look within. I didn't do my checkup. I'm just gonna make sure the life is working. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, it's great. It's working. So yeah, as I was saying, we don't have to, but we are invited to look back within. What is holding us back? What is the stuckness inside that creates that reality for us? Because at the end of the day, everything is energy, and our unconscious mind works based on that energy that we carry, that energy that we choose every day, even though it's unconsciously. Hi for the people joining. Let me know in the comments where you're coming from. Say hi. And just to loop you in, we are talking about the fact that you're not stuck, you're just feeling stuck, and how to move through that in order to so you feel ease and you can call in your next best reality. For me, to talk about experience and give you maybe a more clear example, I've talked a lot about my toxic relationship and not being in a conscious, healthy relationship. And I use that example a lot because for me, relationships or how we relate to others is a really great mirror to how we relate with ourselves, and at the end of the day, how we relate with life. We don't often realize that everything we experience is something we're relating to, something we are in relationship to, whether it is your friends, your family, coworkers, but also yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and the reality that you're living in. We are always in relation to something. And we see relationships often as a way to seek or fulfill needs that we are not able to fulfill for ourselves, or that we feel like we need someone else or something else to feel that for ourselves, so we feel complete, understood, seen, valued, and so on. And in that wounding, we don't often realize that how we relate with ourselves will always reflect in how we relate with others, with life, with everything. And so realizing that you're not stuck, that you're just feeling stuck, gives you your power back. Because when you continue to believe that you are stuck in a situation, in a relationship, in a job, anything, then you have no power over the situation, no power over the circumstances, because you're the victim of them. And every day we must remind ourselves that we are divine creatrixes. We are all divine creators. And so it's not true that we don't have any power over our reality. We came here to remember that truth. And that's the whole thing of the Divine Creatrix Circle, is to be a weekly place where you do remember your power. And so that's why I love to talk about different subjects and different ways that we can remember where we are forgetting our power. And I would say that feeling stuck and staying stuck is a way through which we fuel in our lack of power. Because I know what it feels like, and we've all been there, to be in a situation that you don't understand why you're experiencing that, and you don't know how to get out of it. And that desperation of knowing that life is so much better than this, that it doesn't have to be that way. But at the same time, having no idea how, because this is the only thing you've known. And for me, that was toxic relationships. I remember always asking myself when we would be on a fight or something, and I would feel so desperate and being like, why does it have to feel so hard, so complicated? Why do I have to feel so alone in the container of a relationship? Why is it always so hard to relate with someone else? Why do I feel so bad about myself all the time? And for moments, I would have moments of clarity and be like, yeah, no, this is not supposed to be like this. Like, this is all that I've known, but I'm sure I remember in my heart that this is not how it's supposed to be. But then the conditioning would come back and be like, yeah, but relationship are hard, love is hard, you have to work through it, you have to choose the other person, you have to be a, a teammate, you have to. And so I would always compromise myself in the conditioning of like, no, you know what, this is how love is supposed to be, you have to feel stuck in that because this is how it works. And so I would fuel in and believe all the stories of how the stuckness I was in was supposed to be normal. But I'm here to tell you today that even though many people feel stuck in their life and experience stuckness, feeling stagnant in their life, it's not because it's common that it's normal. And it's not because everyone tells you, oh my God, life is hard, things are hard, it's not that easy, you cannot do this like that, you have to be realistic, and all of the other stories and narratives that you cannot change your life overnight, that you cannot live something different, experience something different. That is the biggest lie and the biggest illusion. Of course, healing takes time. Of course, the process and a journey, but it's not supposed to be stagnant. It's not supposed to be the same thing over and over again. I mean, look at nature. Nature is a perfect reflection of our life because it's the magic that is fueling us, the life force of the universe that is fueling nature, animals, us, humans, everything that we see. And nature is never stagnant. It is always moving, always striving, always abundant. There is never scarcity in nature. And so there is none for us too. We are not stagnant beings. I mean, we are tiny babies and we grow into adults and then we continue the life cycle. So nothing is permanent, even stuckness. But we often forget that truth because we feel like we're separate from everything that surrounds us. And because we think we're separate, then we forget who we are. And today is all about remembering who you are. And yesterday. I'm all mixed up with my days. Yesterday is Sunday, which I thought it was Saturday. I guess I had we always go to a yoga class at 4:30, and it's our favorite teacher of the studio. So we always go on Fridays and Sundays because it's him and we love him so much and we love his energy and his classes and everything. And so in the morning, we're like, oh yeah, we have to sign up, my boyfriend and I, we have to sign up for the class because it's today. So we look at the schedule of the studio and I see that it's not him. And my first reaction is like, ugh, I don't know if I want to go because I love him. I love the familiar routine of knowing that it's him. Now I don't know who that is. It's not him anymore, so I'm not sure I want to go. But then I saw the name, and the person who was replacing him that day was another girl that I do like a lot in the studio, that I would go to her classes a lot. And so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's her, perfect. And then we arrive at the studio, and I don't see the teacher that I usually know. And so the teacher that's in front is starting to place her bath and everything. And I realize it's not her. And the first thing I feel is like, oh, why? Like, why? Like, oh, I wanted to experience something specific that I know that I like, the thing I needed. Now it's not that. And my first reaction was to be like, ugh. And so I was like, I was already there. So I lay down on my mat and I catch myself. I'm like, oh my God. Since this morning, I'm letting my limited self run the show about the yoga class. Like the moment it was something unfamiliar that I was not expecting, I went into victim mode of like, oh, why? I wanted to experience that. And so I was like, wait a minute. Why is my expectation of this class so high in a way that I think that when it's not that, it automatically means it's going to be less than what I usually experience. Like my first reaction is being like, if it's not that, I don't want it because it's less. But the only reaction I have that caused that, what causes that reaction is the unknown. Is the fact that I usually don't know. The first time I see that teacher, I usually know something, it's not that on Sundays. And my first reaction is to hold back, and to like protect myself because I don't know what is going to happen. And while I was relaxing at the beginning of the class, just before it started, that's when I catch myself. And I was like, wait a minute, what if it's better than what you usually expect because you've never experienced a class with that teacher? So what if it's better? And what if it's better than, what if it's exactly what you need today and the things she's going to say is exactly what you need for you today? And because I remembered that, I was like, wait, I'm just going to surrender to the experience and have fun and see it with curiosity and excitement instead of like choosing in advance that it's not going to be as good. So I'm not disappointed or something. And for me, it was a beautiful reflection of how sneaky or limited self can be, and the stories it can bring in any situation that actually keeps us stuck in something that we don't want to experience. Like, why do you go to a yoga class if you're feeling resistant? And I was not pissed, but like the texture of being pissed that it's not as you wanted it to be. And I don't know if that resonates with you, or you can see that in other aspects of your life or certain stories that you are becoming aware now that you're telling yourself on a daily basis. But that's all about the limited self and the belief of being stuck. It truly starts and it is caused by the fact that we always think we are in danger, that there's a threat, that the moment we step out of our comfort zone or that we go into the unknown, that it is a threat, that it's going to be the worst case scenario. But what if that you being stuck right now is everything you needed to actually manifest everything you want? What if experiencing this right now, feeling stuck and not knowing how, is going to trigger in you the motivation, the inspiration, the faith, the trust for you to start opening yourself to your next best self? And that's the whole point and the whole energy behind why I wanted to talk about this today, is to open up and loosen up that energy that is stagnant and stuck, and that makes you believe that you cannot move. The stuckness in itself is a movement. Even though it feels like there's no movement, it's part of a bigger movement in your life. But the moment that you feel the stuckness and believe it is stuck, you are stuck, your life is stuck, then you continue fulfilling that energy. Continue to fuel that energy. You continue to choose that energy. But when you take a step back and you're like, okay, wait, I'm not stuck. I can choose to change my life like this if I want to right now. If I devote myself to change my life, it's gonna change. If I make the choices to change my life gonna change. If I devote myself to myself and choose love and expansion and growth every day, I'm going to change. So it's not true that I'm stuck. Maybe I'm feeling stuck right now. But it's not because I feel stuck that it means that I am stuck. It's really different. And so when you are feeling stuck, is not, even though our first reaction is to react to that stagnant energy and feel the weight and feel the contraction and feel the pressure and feel like we are being weighted down, is to actually come back to yourself and remember who you are. Remember that you're a human being, and as the being, you're a sentient being, meaning that you feel. And feeling is your greatest gift because it allows you to be aware. It is the way through which, the compass through which you become aware of your reality. You become aware of what's happening, what's alive in you. And so it's not a curse to feel sad, to feel stuck, to feel stagnant, to feel depressed, to feel all the heavy emotions that make you feel like you can't move. It's not a punishment, it's not a curse, it's actually a gift. It's the compass in you detecting what is no longer working for you. It's the compass in you detecting where there's movement that can be started, that can shift. And so if you can keep something with you for the rest of your life starting today, is remembering that you feeling emotions doesn't mean that you are your emotions. It only means that you're sensing information. You're sensing information, and information that it will help you continue to move and up level in your life, grow, expand to your full potential. And I know by ourselves, it can feel so big. It can feel like we don't know how we're going to get to the end of the tunnel. We know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but we often feel like we're not sure if we're going to make it to the end of the tunnel. And for that, I would say that you can come in acceptance and welcome the fact that you were not supposed to do it alone. Or more than that, that you don't have to do it alone. You can do it alone if you feel like it's the path to take, and it's the initiation, and it's the path and the journey to know yourself. And that means that you will come back within and be by yourself more. But the truth that I've experienced in healing and expanding is that you don't have to do it alone. And it was not about doing it alone. It was about coming in community and having a support system, a mentor, a guide, a coach, anyone who is there to support you through that journey that has been there and that can help you without you needing to hit your head against the wall more than you actually need to. It's being humble with ourselves. And being humble means to recognize our power and to recognize what is. And so being humble with yourself is also acknowledging that maybe you don't know how, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that because you don't know how that you cannot go where you want to be, but it allows you to then look forward, open up yourself to the opportunities, the people, the situations that will help you know how. And so for me, that was a life-changing, transformational realization. It's like, wait, I've done this by myself for a long time now. And I've grown, I've expanded, but I'm ready for more. I crave more, and I know life can be more than what I actually experience right now. So how can I expand and go to the next best level of myself if I don't know how? Then I will surround myself with people that already know how to get there and that can help me and support me and guide me through that process. And so one of the biggest ways to remove stagnant energy is to allow yourself to surrender in that stagnant energy, meaning to let go of any expectation, need of performance that you need to move, and that has to be done even in the midst of not knowing. But when you surround yourself or go into spaces that can support you, see you in that, value you in that, hold you in that there's no more pressure added. You don't need to force yourself into anything, because you can trust the process of alchemy, of those emotions moving into better emotions and more powerful emotions that will support you. So yeah, that is a big realization, is that you don't have to do it alone. And I guess what keeps us stuck in stagnant energy is that desperation of wanting to get out, but not knowing how. I've been there so many times. I've been there so many times. And every time I remember that truth, I can create whatever I want today. And if I'm honest with myself, yes, I don't know. I don't know. And it's okay, because most of our conditionings are unconscious, literally unconscious. So we have to stop expecting things to move when we want them to move. That's the paradox. You can choose to move things whenever you want to, but there's also a trust in the process and surrendering to the bigger plan of like, not everything has to be perfect. Not everything has to be a performance level. Sometimes it's about surrendering. Dropping all the expectations so we can move more easily and more freely into our transformations. And I say transformations because growing and expanding into your full potential and manifesting your best next reality, your most magical and aligned reality, will trigger a lot of transformations, not just one. So of course, when you don't have that community or when you don't have that support, it's harder. And that's why my mission is to create this space, so you can feel like you do have somewhere you can find the answers, the support, the community. And for those who are on YouTube, watching this live on YouTube, we have the Divine Creatrix community, which is a Facebook group where you can connect with like-minded souls that are on the same path and that have the same goals, same mission of creating their most aligned life and manifesting with ease. And so if you're on YouTube and you're craving more support and more community, I highly suggest you join the Facebook group. The link will be in the description box, so you can join. And for those who are ready to move into their next best reality and that are ready to receive support, there's multiple ways we can work together. So I have one-on-one, and where we can go deeper into rewiring any unconscious conditionings, really specific things, and go really deep into that. And I also have my new offer that is now open to enrollment, that is called Divine Calling, and it's all about, it's an 8-week group coaching program, and it's all about going into the root of what is keeping you small, so you can step into your most divine self, so that you can create your most magical life with ease. And it's all about that, releasing the stuckness, releasing the limiting beliefs, the fear, the limitations of the limited self perspective, so you can start tuning in to your higher self, to your divine self, to move with ease and trust and surrender to the divine plan of your life. And you can feel support, because that's the other thing. We think that support is only in the physical realm, like you and me, your friends, your family, but we also have cosmic support, divine support at the tip of our fingers. The divine is always there for you, is always rooting for your biggest and best expansion. And so the moment you allow yourself to receive that help, your life is going to transform. Because even in the darkest moments of being stagnant or stuck, you still feel supported and you still feel in the right path. And there's nothing more healing than that. And so that was my divine calling, to help people reconnect with their own divine callings, with the divine, with that support, with the connection with their higher selves, so they can experience that newfound connection and live their best life. And living our best life doesn't exclude or reject the emotions that feel less good or that are not so cute. It's actually the opposite. Is how can we accept it all, embrace it all for our highest good. And so if you feel the call, your divine calling, you can DM me on Instagram. My handle is right here on the screen. You can see it here. And DM me divine, so you can get more details into that. We're starting mid-June, and 8-week, 8 calls, including 4 transmission teachings like this, where we go deeper into one subject, like inner child healing, connecting with your higher self, communicating with your guides. We're going to touch a lot of subjects. And there's also going to be 4 hot seat coaching calls, where you'll get one-on-one coaching. And the beautiful thing is that healing in group is so powerful. So powerful. It's the most transformative experience of my life. And in my first group coaching program is where I met my boyfriend right now. So it's only women. So you will meet maybe your next bestie of life. We never know what can happen in the connections you make. Like, the group that's going to come together is not going to be a coincidence. The people signing up at the same time is all divine plan. It's a divine calling in itself. So that's the exciting part too, is like, who are you going to co-create this healing and transformation and activation with? Is the pieces of the puzzle coming together for your greatest expansion. And that's exciting. And the beautiful thing about that is that when one person heals something, it does have a ripple effect on all the other persons in the container. And when one person heals something, it helps heal for all the other people. And so there's a really potent and powerful energy when we come into group and we walk together into our most biggest expansion. So again, if that calls you and you resonate with that, let me know. And I'm only accepting 8 to 10 women, because I want to keep it really intimate so we can go deeper together. And so yeah, let me know. If not for today, my invitation for you would be to ask yourself, where is there stuckness in my life in this moment? Where do I feel stuck in my life? It can be in your body as well, because everything is related. But where is stuckness, the energy of being stuck, where is it alive in my life? Is it in my job? Is it in my relationship? Is it in general in my life? Is it my physical body? Wherever the place is, once you know or it comes to you, then contemplate a little bit and just allow yourself to feel the energy of being stuck. Feel that stagnant energy and give it a voice. It's not a coincidence if you feel stuck. It's an energy that's coming up to the surface so that you receive the information it wants to give you. And it's because it's ready to be alchemized. It's ready to be transformed. It's ready to be up-leveled. And so it's not a coincidence. But the more we fall victim of that energy, the more we run away from it because we see it as something bad, something inconvenient in our lives. And that creates repeat cycle again and again and again, and experiencing the same experience again and again and again. And that gives us the illusion that we are stuck, but we're not. We're just creating the same thing. So there is movement in that creation, but we're creating the same thing again because our focus is not, our intention is not in alignment with what is for our highest good, or in alignment with what we want. And so we keep a vibrational alignment with that energy of being stuck instead of movement. So once you felt through that, you can ask that energy, what do you want me to know? What do you need from me? What is your biggest gift you're giving me? What do you want me to understand, to see, to feel? Ask it the way it's the most natural for you, just to receive some guidance and information, and just sit with that. And maybe you can journal on it or just feel with it, but give it space, because stagnant energy is only asking for that, for space, so it can unfold, and so it can move, and so it can alchemize. So I feel like we've gone deep into this. And yeah, keep me posted, either in the comments on the YouTube or on the Facebook group. Keep me posted once you do this, what comes to your awareness, what comes alive, and how that information is helping you shift your perspective, or how is it helping you move more, feel more alive, and move more energy. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. And for those catching up the replay, let me know in the comments that you are watching the replay. And again, keep me posted. I love to know your experiences with the divine and with your own energy. Let me know what happens, how it moves, what shifts, what becomes clear for you. Let me know all in the comments, again, in the YouTube page or the Facebook group. And until then, we'll see each other next week. I can't wait. And if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to send me a message in private. Again, you can send me a message on Instagram with my handle right here, or you can write to me on my email, which is info@lenamariagonzalez.com. info@lenamariagonzalez.com. You can also find it in my link in my Stand store. There's a little icon for email. You can send me an email through there too. So yeah, have an amazing week, because we're Monday. So have an amazing start of the week. And I can't wait to see